Hello everyone, this is Daniel from Neuron, and today's quick tutorial we're going to be talking about perception neuron and notch. The first thing you want to do is open up Access Neuron. As you can see right now everything's by default, nothing's open yet. First things first, you want to do is go into File, go to Settings, go into the broadcasting options here, make sure TCP is selected, and also make sure BPH is enabled with a server port number 7001. Now this is values are on by default when you first install Access Neuron. This can be customized if needed, but just make sure this number is kept very important. This is the number that we're going to be using to send over data into Notch. So once that's completed, select OK. And the next thing I want to do is open up a pre-recorded data. Now you can open up a pre-recorded data, or you can use a live motion if you need to. In this case, we're just going to work with the pre-recorded data, and all my settings are completed. I have my animation loaded, and I'll go ahead and loop this animation, press play, make sure that's playing in the background, so it's looking good. Next thing you want to do is open up Notch. Now this is Notch UI. The most important portions we're going to be working on is actually the properties panel, the node graph, and the node selection panel here. Okay, so already I have a robot already imported. In order to do so on your side, go to File, Import Resources, 3D, FBX Scene. I will provide this file for you for demo purposes, so you can use it as an example. Feel free to use that as you will. Press select the file, press open, and you'll get this dialog. You can leave this by default. This might be changed or customized depending on the character that you import based on the 3D software that you used. In this case, we'll just leave it by default. Press OK. Okay, as you can see, I get another instance here, but it's the same file. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and click and drag the character inside of my node graph here. I will go ahead and click and drag from the root output and connect to the 3D asset here. So this is the imported 3D scene. You'll see here that you get an input and you get a little tab here with a little triangle. If you click that little triangle, you expand and see the root and all the hierarchy of the character. You'll see here that this is all the bone information with the right arm, hands, and spine information and everything, and including the mesh. Okay, so the next thing you want to do, go to the node selection panel and look for perception neuron MOCAP skeleton. Click and drag that node into the node graph here. Right now you'll see a couple of hashes on it, meaning that it's not currently active. So the next thing you want to do is click and drag from the root output into the node, and then you'll see that the node will change color. It's a solid blue color by default. And then you'll see that there's also another red hash. That's letting you know that there's input data needs to be configured. So I'll go ahead and click the node, make sure I have it populated on my properties. Right now, this is the perception on MOCAP skeleton properties. If I scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see the attributes. Now this is the attributes that are your settings that you configure so that Access Neuron will be able to send data to Notch, and Notch will be able to receive data from Access Neuron. In this case, since I'm using Access Neuron from the same computer, I'm basically just leaving the information through the local IP address of 127.0.0.1, and I'll complete the setting here with the Access Neuron server port to 7001, and that is the same information that I put inside of Access Neuron, if you remember. Again, this can be customized depending on your computer settings and your network settings as you will. This is the information that's already completed, so that's ready to go, and you can see that the red hash on the node has been removed, meaning that there's an ongoing connection going on in the background. Alright, so next thing you want to do is go back to the node graph, and you want to select. You can see here on my viewport that I have the character populated into my scene. There's nothing going on if I press play. There's no data being moved. There's no data that's moving my character. So let's go ahead and pause this. So the next thing you want to do is you want to connect the root of the character to the perception neuron node, and by doing so, we'll go ahead and look at the hip bone. We want to get the little tab here, the output of the hip, click and drag, and connect that to the inputs of the perception neuron MOCAP skeleton node. So once we do that connection, if I press play, now I have animation on my character. So all in all, that's the simple way to connect your character and set up Axis Neuron with Notch through live connection.